You go on the other side of the room.
Well,
You
listen,
leave.
listen. There are moments where I need to clear my throat. You can hear me now this morning. My allergies are like making my voice a little hoarse, but where you have to like clear your throat, and if there are people like anywhere near you, it's kind of like, all right, forget this. I'm just going to have to just like deal with this for a minute.
The very last flight I took before really everything started to shut down, it was the quietest flight I've ever been on in my life. Right? Because normally you hear somebody hacking, you hear somebody sneezing or whatever.
Yeah,
Man, nobody was making, I mean, they weren't even talking on the flight.
right.
Because it was just like, no, you don't want to do that. And people wear a face mask, everything. And I was like, this is the last flight I'm taking this year. And
Yeah,
it was the absolute last flight that I have been on.
yeah. Well, well, speaking of this too, it's interesting. Philadelphia is starting to loosen. I mean, I really, again, I want to appreciate the way in which Philadelphia and Pennsylvania has attempted to, really, mitigate our losses and loss of life and loss of everything else in the way in which we've been really kind of phasing things back in, the opening of restaurants first at 25%, and then 50, and then 75, et cetera. So they have just announced yesterday for all you Eagles fans. Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Eagles. It's Eagles.
I thought in South Philly they say Eagles.
Uh, I don't think my mother's from South Philly. She's never pronounced it that way at all. So
All right. Well, I'm a Raider fan. You know that for
yes,
life.
that's why I'm about to say, don't bring your West Coast stuff over
For
here.
life. I'm about to change my background on this Skype right now. I'm gonna throw up my Raider banner. First of all, shout out to the Raiders who went into Kansas City and beat the reigning champs in KC, ran up 40 on them. Derek Carr, number 4, is the truth. I digress. Back to the link. So at the link, they're now going to let 7,500 people in the game
Yeah.
starting this week.
Hmm.
Now, I've got a real serious question for the mayor
Hmm.
who's allowed this to happen. Do you really think that you can find 7,500 people who want to go see that game?
Oh, that's brutal. That was brutal. That was cruel, man. What's up with that? Yo, 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 yo. We don't roll like that on our teams. We are not fair weather fans. We stick with them in season and out of season. And just because it's out of season right now does not mean that we are only going to support the Eagles right now, right? We are going to support the Eagles in season, out of season, when they're up, when they're down. They are our home team.
Well, again, I just want to know, can you find 7,500 people to even fill that little bit of the stadium? I don't know, man. They're pretty bad right now.
Well, actually, the whole NFC East is really bad right now, so I don't really feel that bad. And yes, I actually checked this out because I knew that if somehow or another sports was coming up in this conversation. And although politics is my sport, I actually went to my resident Eagles expert and started asking a bunch of questions. I went to my brother. I went to my brother Damon.
You went to Stone. And all right, now that's my guy. So what did Stone tell you? Uh,
Stone told me that the whole division's terrible. And even when we were 1-3-1, we were actually at the top of the division at one point, which was very problematic, right? And I think based on who won the what was it, the Dallas and Giants game on
yeah,
Sunday, it
yeah,
would determine who the new division leader was going to be. So
yeah.
yeah, we're just not in a good spot right now, but that's okay. It's just the beginning of the season. That's all it is. It's just the beginning.
Bruh, we're
We can
like,
make a comeback.
we are more than a
And we need to bring
fourth of
back
the
Nick
way.
Foles. And we need to bring back
No,
Nick.
no.
That's what we need to do. Get rid of Carson Wentz, bring back Nick Foles.
We're,
Okay.
we're, we're more than a fourth of the way through the season. So listen, glad to see folk on Facebook Live. Yeah, we have, so the audio is up, as you can see, but no visual. The visual is just kind of the banner and the logo. So feel free to comment this morning anyhow. Casa Suit. Yeah, Casa Suit. Raphael, glad to see you all. Glad to see Kathleen and others. Good morning to each of you. Edwin Bowles, shout out to him. Raider Nation, he's holding it down in Florida. That's right, represent. But listen, on to more serious matters. We joke, but sometimes you have to laugh because some of this stuff makes you want to cry. So the Democratic Party cannot stop the nomination or the seating of this new Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
I think we've debated before about the timing of this and whether or not it's going to really benefit Trump and the Republicans. I mean, Trump thinks it's going to benefit his reelection chances.
Right.
The Republicans, I don't know. I think they're a little bit skittish. But how are you seeing the way in which the Democrats are approaching this nomination versus Brett Kavanaugh? Do you notice a difference? Is it a different tack? I mean, I've got some thoughts, but I'm interested in how you are reading what we've seen the last 2 days.
Yeah, so I think this is what's happening right now. The Democrats, especially the moderate Democrats, are playing it kind of cool and kind of safe, right? Because some of them are up for re-election. They can't appear comfortable with this, but they're not in a position to stop it. And there was actually a debate. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. That the progressives were really waging a war, mostly progressive organizations outside, because they were basically saying that the Democrats just caved on this. When Merrick Garland was put up 4 years ago, the Republicans refused to meet with them. Almost every Democrat on the Judiciary Committee met with Amy Coney Barrett, with the exception of Senator Kamala Harris, Senator Hirono, who is out of Hawaii, and there's one other senator that did not meet with them as well. But everybody else met with them, including Cory Booker and others that are on the Judiciary Committee. So I think they're going to ask tough questions. I think they're really trying to push her. She's actually refused to answer a lot of their questions based on the fact that, she's trying to maintain some level of appearance of judicial neutrality. I think, they're like, there's not much they can do. I mean, I think that there are ways they could have stymied this process, but I don't think they chose not to do it because they do not want to basically tick off the American public at this point, especially when they're in election season. So, I think they caved, right? I think that's the bottom line. They caved. I mean, they're asking questions about Obamacare. She's refusing to answer. They're asking questions about abortion. She's refusing to answer. They're asking, questions about where she would stand on electoral issues. She's refusing to answer. They've asked her to recuse herself from cases related to the Affordable Care Act and cases regarding election issues. She's refused. So, I mean, they're just like, there's not much they could do. I mean, they should be mounting a serious media campaign. They should be working, the nonprofit organizations that are outside the advocacy organizations, and they're just not doing it. I mean, there's people that are out there doing stuff, but it's just not getting any traction, and part of it is because it's just being overshadowed in many ways by the presidential election. So,
all right. So all right, we're at 6:20. We got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to use your famous words. I'm going to push back on that.
Push back.
But after the break and a little bit more coffee. This is the Power Hour. And when we come back, I'm going to give you the actual truth about what's happening in D.C.
Oh, Lord. Oh, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that right there. Gee.
We'll be right back. It's the Power Hour.
Joe likes to say that character is on the ballot, and it's true. But let's be clear. This election is about building this country back better. And that's exactly what Joe and I will do. Bring back critical supply chains so the future is made in America. Build on the Affordable Care Act. And finally, offer caregivers the dignity, the respect, and the pay they deserve. We'll protect a woman's right to make her own decisions about her own body. Root out systemic racism in our justice system. And pass a new Voting Rights Act that will ensure every voice is heard and every voice is counted. We have a chance to choose a better future for our country.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Man, this coronavirus has us all moving differently.
No doubt. Like washing our hands more and social distancing with the crew. I'm always telling people to give me 6 feet. We're here, Grandmom.
There's my babies. Good to see you got your mask on.
Wear mask. Stop the spread. For more information, visit www.pa.gov/COVID.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars. Reverend Tyler, with November 3rd around the corner, do you know how you'll be voting this year?
Dr. Callahan, I requested my mail-in ballot, and I'm returning it the day it comes in the mail.
That's perfect, because we can't leave anything to chance this year.
Already received your mail-in ballot? You're just a few simple steps away from turning your mailbox into a ballot box. Here's how. After selecting your candidates, place your marked ballot into the small secrecy envelope and seal it. It's a 2-envelope process, so then you'll place the small secrecy envelope into the larger one. Make sure to seal that one too. Sign and date it, and then it's as simple as dropping it in your mailbox, no postage necessary, or returning it to your county election office. And if you still want to sign up to vote by mail or find out where to drop off your mail-in ballot, visit votespa.com.
I'm not waiting until November 3rd. I'm returning my mail-in ballot the day it comes in the mail.
Or you can return your ballot to your county election office.
I've got my plan. Make your plan to vote today.
Paid for by Power Interfaith.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
All right, welcome back to the Power Hour. We had a little bit of technical challenge there for a second, but we got that all straightened out. We should be back live on Facebook Live in just a few moments. I just wanted to hit a couple of points that were being made. So Raphael said something to me about the fact that I should be a lawyer. And actually, I originally went to college with the intent of being a lawyer, and then answered my call to ministry my sophomore year of college, and because God had jokes and other plans. But the plan was I was a political science major at Boston College. The goal was undergrad poli-sci, then to law school, then back to Philadelphia to become an elected official. It did not quite work out. I actually did some of those things, but I did not do all of them in terms of the law degree, and I didn't finish at BC. I finished at Geneva College. So, but anyway, that was, a piece of this. And Sister Bay said to me, it's not Obamacare, it's the Affordable Care Act. And I'm like, I understand, but the reason I use Obamacare was that originally the Republicans used Obamacare because they were trying to make it seem like it was less than what it was, and we don't attribute this great health plan. It was a great step forward for many people to be able to have access to health care, and so people don't want to attribute it now to President Obama. So that's why I refer to it as Obamacare, just so you know. I want the president gets credit.
Well, Mama named him Obamacare. I'm gonna call him Obamacare.
Oh Lord! All right, then what were you
coming to America?
You had this whole thing. You wanted to push back. You didn't like my comment.
No, I don't agree with your comment. So let me just tell you who has absolutely, in my opinion, no right to complain about anything right now related to Trump or the Supreme Court or any of this.
Who's that?
Progressives.
Why? Oh, well, okay. Oh, geez. Now, these are my people now. I keep telling you about this.
They're my people too, but they drive me crazy.
Okay.
And so because I'm having the same conversations in 2020 that I had in 2016 with people who are still saying things like, man, I'm struggling about this election. I'm like, really? Well, 1994, man, the crime bill. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, my God, are you absolutely serious right now? And yes, they are serious. And so the reason that we have the Supreme Court that we have today, in part, I will not put all of the blame there, but in part, is that a lot of progressives in places like Pennsylvania who thought their vote really didn't matter because Pennsylvania is going to go blue anyway, which it did not, chose not to vote or chose to throw their vote to Jill Stein. And the election, I mean, as we keep talking about, Trump won with an electoral college victory between these three states of less than 100,000 people. And a lot of that was due to the fact that, that people who are making the same arguments today. And so I'm saying, I don't understand how, number one, how you can basically give us Trump and then complain about Trump and tell, people who voted for the option that somehow it's our fault because we gave you a trash candidate. Well, I mean, you know what? We didn't give, Hillary Clinton, like we didn't give you Joe Biden. The electorate did. The Democratic electorate did. Yeah. And if you don't like that, then start your own party. But the rules are the rules. And so if this person wins the primary, then you throw your support behind said person. You don't take your marbles and go home and get upset. That's the first thing. The second is this. Do you not understand civics? Not you. I'm talking about like generally, people who don't understand basic civics. You get to nominate the Supreme Court justice if you have the White House. The Republicans have the White House. It is their prerogative. It's even their prerogative to be big hypocrites and do the opposite of what they said they would never do. It's their prerogative. It is then their prerogative as the United States Senate, if they have one more vote than the Democrats, to then confirm that person. So Democrats caving, there is no caving because there's nothing at all that they can do. They do not control the process. All they can do is show up on the day it is to vote, show up at the hearings, raise sand. So this idea and argument that somehow they've just thrown in the towel that I hear, progressives saying repeatedly is absolutely asinine. It's like people had, were you not in school the day that they had civics? I actually, had civics, and it's pretty much the same as it was back in the 70s and 80s, the process that's going on right now. I mean, until we have something other than 50+1, then you can talk about what the Democrats are letting the Republicans do. Now, that said, I'll say this last thing. I think that they are being skillful in not making this about abortion and reproductive rights, which they could. That is a lesser argument. Yeah. The bigger argument that they are making and using this for is to heighten the attack on the Affordable Care Act / Obamacare and pre-existing conditions, which a lot of these conservatives who hated Obama love and don't want to let go of, and to continue to make that a campaign issue, I think it's a winner. And I just want to say to them, it appears that they have learned a lot from the Kavanaugh hearing to this one, and they're not screwing it up this time.
we'll disagree on this. I know. Look, Bernita Francis just put her palm up on her forehead on Facebook. Thank you, Bernita. We appreciate you, Bernita Francine.
You don't even know why she did that.
I don't know why she did that, but I'm agreeing with her right now. So if it relates to what you just said, I totally agree with it. Look, here's the thing, right? We have to get more savvy. The Democrats have to get more savvy about political procedures and using their bully pulpit for all intents and purposes to be able to drive the agenda that they want to drive. Like, for example, right now, one of the things Lindsey Graham. They said Lindsey Graham's opening statements at the hearing for Amy Coney Barrett basically sounded like pieces that he was trying to take for sound bites to do his next ad for his race down in South Carolina. So, it was absolutely terrible. We are not, the progressives, the Democratic side is not always savvy and I think as forceful as it should be with regard to these matters. There's ways that they could have raised and elevated this issue in the way that it could have made it about the election and really made it very difficult for who will soon to be Justice Coney Barrett to be able to vote without recusing herself on the election issues that are going to come before the Supreme Court. I think that that's absolutely critical. And I think the other challenge is they needed to try to slow the process down a little bit because there are matters going to the Supreme Court right now that if she were to be sitting on the court would actually go against the state of Pennsylvania in terms of some of the issues that we're having around voting in Pennsylvania right now. Now, let me just say this. I hear what you're saying about progressive. Lesson learned, right? Sometimes
Not really.
Well, I mean, there's some folk are just going to be like that, right? That's a part of the democratic process. People have the right to actually not do. That is their right. We don't like it. We don't agree with it. But a non-vote is a vote in itself, right? They support Trump. We should just say that point blank. If you don't get out there and vote and you don't make a choice, I mean, let me just say that Jill Stein between Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, right? It was 77,000 votes in those three states between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Jill Stein got 50,000 votes in Pennsylvania alone. I think she got like 51,000 votes in Pennsylvania, right? Mm-hmm. So the difference in the election in Pennsylvania was probably in Jill Stein and the Libertarian candidate. The Libertarian candidate got another 40,000 votes as well. So, and the same thing happened in those other states, right? So, I think that that's part of what we have to recognize, too, that third parties, at least in this moment, until we build a substantive third party, like has a third of the electorate of America, is just going to be very difficult to do anything.
Well, I'm going to tell you, eventually, the new third party may be disaffected Republicans like the Lincoln Project kind of folk, like the Republicans against Trump who feel like they've lost their party, and Democrats who thought of themselves as moderates being kind of pushed out. Because extremism on either side is not where the majority of people typically live. And that just seems to be, look, at the end of the day, do you want to win, right? That's the question. You can't affect change on the climate. You can't affect change in healthcare. You can't affect change or criminal justice if you don't win, if you don't hold these seats. And when you're running a national election, you just can't do certain things at certain moments. 3 weeks before the election is not the time to go hard left, right?
Well, why not? Why not?
Oh my God.
Why not? Because we're creating an imagination in America about what the possibilities could be.
Lord have mercy.
And look, bottom line is moderates, whether they're Democrat or Republican, right? The bottom line is moderates want to stay where they are. They tend to be moderate because they like where they are. And there's a whole lot of people who are not in good places. And so they stay there. They don't want to stay there. They want to be able to have imagination. They want to see possibilities, and they want to be able to live into a different reality. Come on.
Maurice from Southwest, help us, please. Come on in.
Both of y'all are killing me. You know what I mean? When are we going to decide it's our fault that these things are happening? We never want to blame ourselves that when we don't vote, we deserve everything we getting right now. You know that Lamont Hill voted for Jill Stein? He actually admitted that. I went down to his coffee shop and cursed him out personally. I said, what are you,
Mark Lamont Hill.
He voted for her.
Yeah,
I said, what message was you sending to people that think you're a great man? What is it, stupidity? What are you doing, man? So he had to put his head down and actually drink a soda instead of some coffee. Let me tell you what's going on here. See, first of all, black people keep thinking we in the majority. I hear them talking about we need to get our guns, we need to do this. We're not in the majority. I hear them blaming Obama for stuff. He was the first black president. Give him a break. He was trying to be reelected to keep the power going so we could feel good about ourselves. Our children never thought it was even possible that a black man could hold the highest office. If he just did that alone, he accomplished the world. But we want him to change things in Africa and do all this. You still need the white folks to agree with you. I mean, there's plenty of people in the Democratic Party that hated him. So what are people thinking about what they're doing? What would scare white folks and get them in line? Number one, we stop killing each other. Number two, stop spending our money with them. If we got reparations today, we wouldn't be no better because we just run to the white man and give it to him so we can have these items that we think we need. Think we want. We don't think about buying things what we need, like our property, a house, stores in the neighborhood. If we just had stores in our neighborhoods with a black person working, we could accomplish a lot. But first of all our money wouldn't be going outside the community. So I'm just saying, look, we're trying to win the state. Am I right? I'm going to close with this. We're trying to win the state, right? How come we don't call Pittsburgh and Harrisburg and find out what the black folks doing in the state? What are they doing? What is their mind frame? We keep going outside the state instead of trying to win the state. We are accomplishing nothing because I ain't heard anybody that's in the state as a guest on to talk about what are they doing in their community. We want to go to the West Coast because we want to be intellectuals for I don't know why, because we're not, to find out what's going on. We're just trying to win the state. It's simple as that.
Wait. Talking about we killing you, man. You like killing us.
Killing us.
Hey, hold on. Let me just say this real quick. So Maurice, all right, I like your point overall about the state. And to your point, so who was I talking to yesterday? Black folk who are getting out the vote in Pittsburgh. Who was I talking to yesterday? Black folk in Harrisburg were getting out the vote. Allentown and Scranton. I can't speak for everybody. I'll tell you what I know the two of us have been doing in the ways that we've been working, not just Philadelphia, but the state. And you're absolutely right. Bishop Royston, you will know, I'm continually saying the way in which politicians in this state divide the black folk and kind of keep us siloed, that we have got to overcome that. And so we have a network that is much deeper and broader than the traditional one. I can only speak for us and for the group of people that we're working with. But, look, I hear your point overall. And he said he went and cussed out Mark Lamont Hill for
I think Maurice did it too. Maurice probably did that. I'm sure he went and did that.
Hey, look, while we're on break, I'm going to text Mark and find out. Did Maurice really cuss you out about voting for Jill Stein? And would you like to come on air and talk about it? We'll be right back on the other side of the break. It's the Power Hour, also known as Maurice's show.
2020 is the year of voter options. We have many different ways to exercise one of the most important activities in our lifetime. Some of us might be voting by mail, but the rest of us can still vote safely while masked up and social distancing in person at your local polling locations. If you're in Philadelphia, learn more about where your polling location might be at either votespa.com or philadelphiavotes.com. For more information on how to vote in Pennsylvania, visit states.aarp.org/Pennsylvania. Vote early. Tune in Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power, hosted by Mark Palmer.
What's up, Philly? It's Solomon Jones. The school year is underway, but never before has that experience come in so many shapes and sizes. Is the education of your child being left to a smattering of clumsy, in-person, and virtual instruction? The COVID-19 crisis has created a market for untested virtual teaching models lacking true credibility. Maybe it's time to reconsider and check out Commonwealth Charter Academy. Here are the benefits to your family. 1. An online education provided at no cost to you, complete with laptop, headset, and help with internet access. 2. Partnership with the market leader in cyber education with a nearly 20-year track record of world-class learning. 3. Delivery of a safe, reliable, and comfortable education experience over the internet directly to the confines of your living room. Visit ccaeducate.me today and discover the gold standard of cyber education. That's ccaeducate.me.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
What you get for your vote is important. For decades, Democrats like Joe Biden have taken our votes for granted. They have promised us a better future and never delivered. What did our votes for Biden get us? He wrote the 1994 crime bill that put millions of black men in prison for nonviolent crimes and a sluggish economy that left our communities behind. What does a vote for President Trump and his Platinum Plan get you? A contract with Black America that prioritizes black economic empowerment, 3 million new jobs for the black community, 500,000 new black-owned businesses, an increase in access to capital in black communities by almost $500 billion, better and cheaper health care, more education opportunities, and continued historic improvements to our criminal justice system. A vote for Biden gets you the same failed policies we've seen for decades. But with President Trump, the best is yet to come.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President Incorporated.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by DEA Takeback Day, October 24th, DEATakeback.com. Southbound 95 building a bit coming down through bridge through that construction. Again, delays from Betsy Ross through Girard, starting to pick up northbound side, not bad. Schuylkill Expressway, westbound University through 30th, jam there now because of ongoing construction by an expressway westbound. That's Heavy Parkway and through the Schuylkill Expressway, eastbound side, not bad. PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476, looking good. 55 northbound, getting a bit heavy. Deptford in the 42. Take back your unused or expired prescription medications at the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 24th. To find a collection site near you, visit DEATakeback.com. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne David Royster. Just want to lift this up for you real quick. If you need a ride, you live in the 5-county region of around Philadelphia, and you are looking to get a ride either to the early polling sites or to to drop off your ballot, we want to be able to help you with that. Power is sponsoring vans. We have personal protective equipment and safety that are provided for every person that's going to be riding with us. You can call us at 1-844-POWER-VT, which is Power Votes, 1-844-POWER-VT, or 1-844-769-3788. Again, 1-844-769-3788. Call. And when you call, it goes to a service that will ask you your particular area. If you're in the 5-county area, you pick Philly, or if you're in Lehigh Valley or Lancaster area, you pick those areas. And somebody will call you back and schedule rides for you. We have rides already scheduled for this week. And if you need a ride to go to the satellite offices, or you need a ride even on Election Day, we'll be providing rides for folk to get back and forth to their polling places. So I just wanted to lift that up for you and to let folk be aware of that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, hey, I know we got a caller. Hold on a second.
Okay, what you got?
I want to read this because Tim got in earlier this week. So hold on, Tim. So Tawanda in Lancaster said this, and Tawanda said she came across some advice from the Trump campaign that encourages people to vote by mail and in person on a provisional ballot in case the mail-in ballot had issues. Is this sound advice? And she said that actually came through. She said, let's see, I'll add the advice was to our neighborhood Facebook group directly from the guy responsible for bringing Trump, I'm assuming 45, to HIA. I'm not sure what HIA is, but let me just respond to that. No, that's terrible advice. I mean, and if Trump supporters want to do that, fine, but knowingly sending in your mail-in ballot and depositing it in the mail or walking into a drop box location like we're suggesting in Philadelphia or your county election and filling out your ballot and depositing it there, and then on election day going in and filling out a provisional ballot, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's illegal.
Yes.
And so for black folk, one or the other. Once you have sent your ballot in, let it go. Now, if you have not received an email, you will get an email if you mail it in. And I'm going to assume it's the same with when you walk it in as well, that when they receive it, that I got an email during the primary that said, we have received your mail-in ballot a few days after, and this is before they counted them. So there are ways that you should, be able to safeguard it. But I think that's just, if that's what they're recommending their folk to do not fall for that. We don't want any votes thrown out. Follow the rules as they are written. Oh, Harrisburg International Airport. Thank you. That's where I guess Trump had his rally. He likes airport hangars.
Yeah, because they're open and they can come out there even though they're not practicing social distancing. All right, let's go to Tim. Tim, welcome to the Power Hour. How are you today?
Oh, very good, Reverend Bishop. Maurice did a very good job. I want to talk about Obama, and then I want to talk about Hillary. People didn't give Obama a lot of credit. I think he did a very good job. He stimulated the economy with the first-time buyers home program, General Motors. And in the first term, you got to give Pelosi credit. She twisted the arms of the Republicans of CARE Act, okay? And it was boiling at that point. And I say to people, you talk about Obama and things you didn't like. Did you vote in the midterm election? Right? So it's boiling now. The haters that hated Obama were coming out. So here comes Hillary, and they say, oh, we had a black man for 8 years. We're going to get this woman. And people say, well, she didn't campaign in the battleground state. I'm going to tell you something. They wouldn't have liked her anyway. Now, that's a lesson for us that we are in the honeymoon stage with Kamala and Biden. And once they're in, vote in the midterm election. Okay? If not, we're going to repeat it because they're going to come out again. Or they're going to, once she's in there about a good year, or they're going to find all these faults. Okay? I would rather for somebody else, or I don't like that she one day may be president.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, let me jump in, Tim, because we're running out of, we only got a few more minutes left, and I get your point. I mean, listen, the truth is that, some of the folk I've been talking to, they're already going in on her about her past. I said this a year and a half ago when she was in the primary, that I thought that her record as a prosecutor, given the climate that we're in, would be an issue for a lot of people. But there's going to be something for any vice presidential candidate or presidential candidate because, unfortunately, Jesus is not on the ballot. In spite of the fact that my neighbor has a sign that says Jesus 2020. Jesus is not on the ballot. So there is no perfect candidate. And if, you're of another persuasion, your savior is not on the ballot. People are on the ballot. And for all that we could talk about, if we took a list and put all of the faults of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on one side and all of the stuff by Donald Trump in the last week alone on the other side, it would be 10 times as many in the 1 week. I mean, the guy has COVID-19. He's running around doing public events. He's saying to people that once you get it, you can't get it again, even though at the same time there's a story running underneath the ticker tape that says man who was infected is now re-affected in Arizona. And he's saying that you can't. I mean, why are we even having this argument? We're not even talking anymore about political differences. We're talking about a person who is not safe for people's lives.
That's right.
There are 215,000 dead people to prove it. And so the idea, and this is why I keep saying, I go back to our progressive friends and others, because it's not just them. Those who just can't find themselves to fall in love with this ticket. Fall in love with your own safety then. As my good friend Denise Clay always says, Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. And it is time for us to take a page from their book. Fall in line, people. Save a life. In fact, the life you save might just be your own.
Yeah, I mean, let me just agree with you on a couple of things here. First of all, I think...
Oh, you're agreeing with me today. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, see, why are you going to play me like that? Okay, so check this out, right? Here's the thing that I think is incredibly important for us to understand. We put out this litmus test for these human beings that we will not even stand up under our own selves, right? I mean, here's the thing. We want them all to be perfect, right? Why do we want politicians that are perfect? Why do we want politicians that can't prove that they have learned and grown, right? Why can't we have politicians that are showing that? I mean, but that's part of this idealism that we have in our heads, that people are supposed to be the same and stay the same and think the same all the days of their lives. No, they should grow and they should experience things and they should learn from their mistakes. And I think in many ways the Democratic Party's learning that. In the ways that they've taken black folk for granted. There's a specific reason that Senator Kamala Harris is the VP nominee right now, because they know that they have done in the past, in times past, have not always done right by black women. Right? And so we have a black woman that's now the VP candidate, the first one. The Republicans have never put up a black woman to be the VP nominee, but the Democratic Party has. Why? Because they're learning their lesson, right? Kamala Harris has recognized the error of her ways as a prosecuting attorney and the district attorney in San Francisco and the AG in California. Joe Biden has had to grow tremendously as a result of this race, and even understanding how his own background, and I'm not trying to be an evangelist for them in this particular moment, but I'm saying, folk, can we stop with needing these people to be perfect, and can we allow them to be human beings that grow and change and learn? I would rather take somebody that can grow and change and learn any day of the week over somebody that has consistently been the same all their lives, because it tells me they can't grow, they can't learn, and they can't listen so that they can make decisions that are different than the ones that they've made in the past. We're in a new day. We gotta grow. We've got to see people's vulnerabilities as strengths, not always seeing them as weakness. That's the product of white supremacy, that when we look at people's vulnerabilities and say to them that's a weakness. No, maybe that makes them human, and that makes them ability to identify with me as well. I know we got to get ready to go off the show.
Well, no, but I mean, listen.
You got me.
No. You listen. All right. I mean, so we started off the show way apart, ending the show coming back together, and I mean, that's the point. Look, I know for some folk, for those who are deeply Afrocentric, for those then who are progressive, for whatever, that electoral politics will never be your thing, and no candidate, no party will ever be good enough for you. But you know what? Until they start giving out resources through another means, is all that we have. Until budgets for cities start coming through a different process, the community elders, for example, handing out money for schools and handing out money for, public services and addressing issues like a minimum wage. Until that happens, until that grand glorious day comes, we got to deal with what we have to deal with. And sticking our head in the sand is not an option. Saying it's all trash is not an option. You have to pick a side. And being neutral is picking a side. Because if you're going to sit back and allow Trump and the GOP to continue to run this country the way that they're doing, which is the most anti-black administration probably since Andrew Jackson, which ironically, he likes to have his picture in his office. I mean, the idea that he puts up in his office the photograph of the president of the Trail of Tears, which moved a part of my family, Choctaw Indians, from Mississippi to Oklahoma, tells you everything you need to know about this man. And yet, you all are telling me, I'm having problems. I'm having problems with this ticket. Come on, man.
All right, we gotta go. So we're out of time. We're going to pick it back up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Thank you for calling in to our show this morning, Power Hour. For those that check this out on Facebook Live, thank you, Dr. Tyler, for everything you do. Jordan, shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you, everything, holding it down there. Listen, we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on the Power Hour to give you the latest in news, politics, and, of course, our opinions. You've listened to the Power Hour with Mark Tyler and Dwayne Royster. We'll see you tomorrow. Go change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Deuces.
Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run.